Hello, people of the world. We are going to go into uh, the Travis Patron and his court battle with Her Majesty. As you can see by the title, he was convicted for basically interrupting a um, CPR class, but they'll couch it in language such as like mischief or being at large or some erroneous arbitrary claim. Um, Obviously, you can see with these arbitrary claims that you don't really have any common laws, even when you exercise them. They still ignore them, and they outright ignore them. Actually, in this article, I will go through a couple articles today, um, explaining this absolute clown prediction or predicament that Travis is in, and how to underline those assumptions and really expose them for who they are. Because right now it seems like they still have an air of legitimacy to them, but these courts, they don't have any legitimacy to them all. As you can see by my previous works with the CMP versus the city of Saskatoon, and I know that in these matters we do interpret law in our favor, um, but at the same time, it's there's a reason why that they ask you for the bar, because they have to protect their system, right? Um, that's basically what it boils down to. And you have no rights; you're a slave, pretty much. But there's a way to undermine that pillar of the legal system, which I believe is the presumption that you operate under. But we'll get that into other videos. But first, I'm just going to expose, those people out there that want to, cite the Constitution or the Magna Carta. Um, just so you know, this is what happens when you do so. When you go through all the steps, when you write Her Majesty the Queen, when you um, give him letter of notice, he's done all the right things. He has all the evidence and probably more that you can ever imagine. He's acted honorably as much as he can, and yet this judge still gives him an arbitrary charge. And I'm just going to go through this today, and then we'll get into how we can overcome this arbitrariness, because I know your mind will be blown on how to legally, if you're into this stuff, on how you can overcome this for sure. So let's get in right into it. All right. So, uh, excuse the typing sound here. Okay. Almost the end of 2021. Unbelievable. So Travis Patron, 30 more days in jail, so he's going to get out next year, which is a month from now. And then he has a jury trial in February. Um, so that's for a private matter. But I'm just going to talk about the public matter and whole ordeal this past year for sure. And yeah, just this year it's been insane. Been an insane year legally wise for the leader of the Canadian Nationalist Party, Travis Patron. Um, yeah, this is nuts. Anyway, so all right, where is this? Hang on. Sorry, where's this down here? Sometimes it doesn't show up on the search engine. Maybe I should have done this work beforehand. Sorry, guys. I'm just trying to find the story here. Da-da-da-da-da-da. Why is it not on here? What the heck? Yeah, that is weird. It's not on there. Yeah. Okay. Hang on, guys. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Hang on. Yeah, that's kind of conspicuous as to why it wouldn't be on the Google search. They probably don't want to know the information of the judge outright denying his writ of habeas corpus, um, his rights contained within the Magna Carta, his constitutional rights, the freedom of assembly. I mean, the list can go on and on and on, right? And for those of you who are interested in to maybe wondering what I'm talking about, how to undermine these arbitrary charges from the court, I'll give you a couple sources. Look up Dean Clifford. He's a Canadian. He goes into trust law. Also, Winston Shrout. You can look him up. Probably look him up more like a DuckDuckGo, a less biased search engine. Those are some you can look up for sure. I mean, and this can work for anything. It goes into like contract law, and basically the whole premise of the government is like they're trying to contract with you, and once you understand that, um, and once you grasp that, it'll take a little bit, but I mean, once you get it, it's easy to assert your rights in court because right now what's happening is they're assuming that Travis Patron is the trustee of his trust, Travis Patron, and as a trustee, you're liable for your trust, and you're liable for fines. That's the presumption, right? But you're actually really only the beneficiary. But they actually use your trust to profit off of, and it goes into the birth certificate and all that stuff. But I mean, basically, what it boils down to is that you have no rights because you're basically a dead entity, and the court assumes that you're one and the same. So how could a dead entity have human rights, right? So that's basically what it boils down to. But if you want, just look up Dean Clifford, Winston Shrout. Those are some really good sources to get into. Um, and then maybe I'll post some channels on there too as well that you can also check out too. There's some other Canadian content creators and other American ones as well too that are really good. Um, they're still up in YouTube too. Shit, where is this? What the heck? Did they just I just had it like 2 seconds. Like I was just reading it on my thing here. Oh my god. Okay. We gotta find it. Oh man. Lots of stories. Lots of things going on in the world. Alrighty. Also look up commercial liens too, guys. Um, that's a really effective way of gaining a remedy for your situation. Here we go. We found it. Ladies and gentlemen, we found it, and I'm about to screen share. Ladies and gentlemen of the court, let's review Exhibit A. All right, here we go. All right. Travis Patron, Court of Appeal, Queen's Bench decision dismissed. That was the result delivered by Justice Neil Caldwell at the conclusion of a hearing before Saskatchewan Court of Appeal via video on Thursday. The decision was unanimously made with Justices Oh, so they're just yeah. So when you're in court, guys, make sure you call them justice. I know you don't call them judge, but they're actually justices. So bizarre. But anyway, compromising for the rest of the panel. Prior to the decision, court heard arguments from both Patron and Crown Prosecutor Andrew Davis. Court appealed uh, June 29th, 2021. Decision by Court Queen's Bench Justice Neil Robertson. So they declined his writ of habeas corpus, his application of writ of habeas corpus, denying him release. Everyone's entitled to a writ of habeas corpus, guys. Don't let them fool you. Especially when you just have a erroneous writ of accusations that you're not convicted for. That it just doesn't make any sense, right? Um, you're not convicted of anything. You're just accused. So what is your justification for being incarcerated? Oh well, he's at large. See, they just throw arbitrary things at you, right? Supreme Court of Canada has described habeas corpus as a vehicle for reviewing the justification for a person's imprisonment. In the appeal court on Thursday, Tron once again argued for the application of a writ of habeas corpus, claimed the Crown had forfeited jurisdiction over him. Okay. We'll leave that for there's so many ways you can get into it. But Caldwell summarized Patron's argument in saying the appellant believed the denial of the bail in provincial court was a jurisdictional error. Um, and the subsequent Queen's Bench decision is not overturn the decision denying bail was also an error. Okay. The jurisdictional arguments that the appellant raises are unknown to law, David said. Okay, so this is kind of um let's see here. Uh so when you make arguments in court, it's fine you want to be sovereign, but keep in mind that it's the um I know everyone wants to point to the judge right away, right? But you have to keep in mind it's the crown prosecutor that is bringing the complaint forward. Um, and it's not the judge, it's not the court, right? The court is hearing it. So keep that in mind when you're making arguments. And then you can make it jurisdictional, but just keep that in mind as well too. Um, I'm not quite sure what happened, but I know there's a tendency of um, people who are want to assert their rights, sovereign man, not sovereign citizen. Sovereign citizen is a contradiction in terms, just like um, what is it? Well, mandate, permanent mandate. I mean, those are contradiction in terms. Mandate is for emergency use. Permanent is like a law that's passed with public consent. So um, so that's basically common law. Common law is actually very is basically it boils down to a couple principles: do no harm, and you know, yeah, do no harm. Basically, a couple. I was thinking do no harm and contract. So um, don't rip people off from contract law, um, which is from do no harm. So it's really one principle, but um, so like I had a really good. Oh man, maybe I should do another screen. Oh, I don't know. There's a couple good points. I made a show the other day. I was what the oh I don't know. Someone was phoning me. Weird. Anyway, um, so yeah, um, hope it's. Oh man, I don't know. It's at work. I gotta call a lot of people on my personal phones. Probably. Anyway, So yeah, common law is actually really important. And wait, I won't get into that. Maybe another stream. But anyway, I'll keep going here. All right. Cadwell summarized Patron's argument in saying the appellant believed that the denial of bail in the provincial court was a jurisdictional error, and the subsequent Queen's Bench decision to not overturn the decision denying bail was also an error. Uh, the jurisdictional arguments that the appellant raises are unknown to law. Nothing has occurred in this case which would deprive the Crown of its ability to prosecute these offenses. Further, Davis argued that Patron has no right to appeal the decision denying him bail. Um, yeah, it's like once you get into like um, their statutes and laws, and also too, I think a mistake that, and I'll highlight it too, is that he was appealing to their statutes, and I think in their procedures, right, and that they apply to them. So there's an implication there, but I'll go into that. I'll just keep reading. Regarding the habeas corpus, as well, guys, with the habeas corpus, anybody can file it. Anybody can file it rid of habeas corpus. You don't need to be a government agent or anything like that to file. Um, since everything is so busy and there's a lot of it, you just have to make sure you do it right, guys. That's a thing, and we'll continue with this study and doing these things so that when you do get in trouble, you know what to do, right? And I feel like I have the knowledge. I know that I can get through any legal battles that I have in front of me right now. Or you could do this with your bills. Like everything is like contract law. Like when it comes to the government, filing your taxes, collections, parking tickets, speeding tickets, all that stuff. All that stuff is contract. Um, and you know and when they put in a plea for you, it's basically like you get the contract. It's like you consent that you are part of the contract. And what they do is they kind of commit fraud if you don't say anything, and they'll just put a non-guilty plea there. That's fraud. So call them out if you have the balls to do it. Do it and see what they say. All they could really do, because you're not wrong. All they could really do is like, oh, we're contempt of court, or if you do other stuff, the contempt of court, stuff like that. Um, because that's all they really have. They can't really like procedurally like charge you, right? Uh, with their statutes and their laws and their procedures and all that stuff. They just say contempt of court, which just means any like something they they don't like. They usually do that to soften up people. But holy crap, I'm just going off some different tangents here. But okay, let's just keep going here. Okay. Oh, I'm feeling it. The court, he said, will generally not entertain a habeas corpus application where another comprehensive mechanism is available for determining the lawfulness of detention. Really? What does that mean? Comprehensive mechanism. Hmm. And I'll get into that too. I, there's some underlying issues here, right? Like with the trustee and all that stuff that they're not that they don't want to talk about, right? I mean, this stuff that I know, it will. I've seen videos of judges walking out. This is what's happening. This is There's something underlying happening here. Comprehensive what does that mean? What does that mean? And trust law gives that answer, right? What does that mean? Comprehensive mechanism. You're denying him his right for habeas corpus. You're denying him his Magna Carta rights, his constitutional rights, his religious rights for a comprehensive mechanism. That doesn't make any sense. It'll make sense after you understand that, these courts, they're not public courts, they're private courts. And they operate on contract law. Like, This is what it is, basically. It makes sense, right? It's like how you decode the chords. But yeah, what does that even mean? Comprehensive mechanism. Comprehensive mechanism. I don't know what that means. Such a mechanism is available to Patron, he said, through a bail denial review process that would consider the question of onus. Uh, Whatever. It's like or you promise not to do this, you promise not to do that. Trustee, yeah, because you don't have any rights. That's why you're a bitch to the courts. During a recess, as the justices discussed their position in private, Patron could be heard uttering what sounded like a prayer asking for righteous judgment. Yeah, not from those not from those people. No, they're not for righteousness and following a higher moral law. Nah. This mind you guys, when you go into court, nothing honorable is happening in there. So don't be overly belligerent. Like, be respectful and honorable. Act in honor as much as you can, as much as you know. But at the same time, don't kiss their butt. You're there for a reason, right? They want to get you on something, whatever it is, a fine, mischief, whatever. Um, yeah, and that's what I'm saying, man. That's what I'm saying. This is proof, right? Your constitutional claim, bank card claim, whatever it is, you're just shooting in the dark, and then they're just gonna throw this at you. Yeah, there's something else, right? But anyway, I'll get in that later. May your will be done, he said. The judges agreed with Davis in their decision, with Caldwell acknowledging the legal avenue of review available to Patron. The existence of legal avenue meant that the court lacked jurisdiction to hear an appeal of the Queen's Bench bail review, Caldwell explained. Caldwell urged Patron to consider the review process as it would take into consideration a change in circumstances. The electrostation, interesting. The Saskatchewan Court of Appeals, a court of review for error, Caldwell told Patron. In conclusion, stated, as we lack jurisdiction to hear an appeal against bail review, and as we found no error in the Queen's Bench decision on habeas corpus, we must dismiss your appeal. Earlier this week, Patron was convicted on 3 charges, including 1 count of mischief, 2 counts of breach of an undertaking stemming from an incident at the Legion Hall, Redverse Legion Hall. He also faces unrelated charges of assault, still before the courts. And the provincial judge who originally denied him bail was concerned about an escalating pattern to the charges. Whatever. That's the escalating pattern was the mischief and whatever, interrupting CPR courses. All right, here's the 3 charges he was convicted on. Okay, so break and enter. That's funny too, because I actually had a key. So what is he in jail for if he has a key to? Anyway, I'll get into it. Let's get into it. Don't take my word for it. Let's research it. All right. Let's see. Far right Nationalist Party of Canada leaders. Yes, sir. Yeah, right there. Boom. What do you think about that, huh? He's still like, yeah, those are just like pseudo claims that who pretend to be a leader because there was a snap election. I just find talking to people like Stefanos is quite a waste of time. And he's just there to provoke and not really have anything constructive to say, which is unfortunate. But whatever, it is what it is. So anyway, Breach of an undertaking stems from incidents from November 22nd, 2019 and August 9th, 2020, both relate to Sean not being available. Oh, come on. He wasn't at his residence. So, oh my god, this is so stupid. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. Don't consent to their stupid contracts. So he basically, because he wasn't at home, not available at the residence he was ordered to be living at. You telling people where they live, all that stuff during certain hours, fuck off. You know, just don't consent, don't sign anything. Even if they let you, for whatever reason, if you're incarcerated and they give you like these bogus, you have to report, um, 5 o'clock or whatever. You know, just say no. Like you don't consent to that contract. Don't sign anything because once you sign that, you consent to their contract and you're liable for it. Just like any other contract that you send for a credit card or anything like that. Once you sign it, you're liable for the conditions, right? So just keep that in mind as well too, when you're signing for conditions. So, like you said, when when they give you a ticket or when they give you conditions of release, it's negotiable. You can negotiate, absolutely. Um, and you're not bound to their conditions. It's not like you have to take it. It's conditional. It's conditional upon acceptance. Keep that in mind. It's really good to keep in mind. All right, moving on. Mischief charge was part of a slate of charges brought against Patron for his activities relating to the Legion Hall in Redverse, Saskatchewan this year. The Crown alleged Patron obstructed the lawful use, enjoyment, or operation of the hall. What? Or operation of? Well, which one is it? That's what I'm saying. It's like, is it the lawful? Is it the enjoyment? You have this or here. Why do you have this or? So which one? What? It doesn't make any sense. In of that itself, enjoyment. You can enjoy things, but that doesn't mean they're lawful. That. I'm just saying, man. This is so vague, and they can get away with this at court. It's their jurisdiction, right? No, I don't even know what that means. I mean, you can enjoy things that are illegal and hurt people. Doesn't make any sense. Operation. Like, what do you mean? Like the building? What? I don't know. Doesn't make any sense. So oh yeah, these first aid CPR people, were they there? Were they there at court when this happened? Um, Bizarre. Anyway, so on March 19th, 2021, a group of people using the hall for first aid and CPR training, the court heard Travis. What? The court heard Travis. Oh, okay, I guess that's a test. I don't know. Walked into the room in which the course was being held, distracting participants. So he was distracting them. What? He didn't interrupt it. He distracted them. Okay. When questioned about his presence, Patron told the group leader that he owned the building. When asked to leave, he refused. The CPR group left the space and police were called. When they arrived, they removed Patron without incident. Patron had argued that he had the right to be in the building because he had made a claim of civil forfeiture. Hmm. There's actually a legal remedy you can go through too, and it's very comprehensive. It's you can do a common law lien, and you can actually forfeit the building if they don't pay out your settlement. Um, But there's a process to it. You have to submit an affidavit first, have proof of service, and then if they don't rebut it, like if they don't rebut an affidavit, here's the maximum law: an unrebutted affidavit is a statement of fact. So they violated my constitutional rights. Here's the evidence: they excluded us from using the Red Verse Legion on such and such day, such and such hour, and this violates our constitutional rights, which is $10,000, our Magna Carta right, which is another maybe $20,000. This hypothetically, of course. And this is not legal advice. Go seek counsel, or whatever, or research it yourself. Don't believe anything that I say. Research it for yourself. But you know, um, cost of marketing materials for the event, $50,000, whatever, right? And if they don't pay that, and then you can go into a lien, and then that base, you can either sell that as security to a collection agency, or you can put a bond. If it's a commercial, you can put a bond on on certain people. So there's a lot you can do, but you can also do it on the building, and you can take possession of the building that way as well too. It was quite, and you don't need the courts too. So so it's next level stuff, but you have to do it correctly, and you need to do more research. But definitely, there. I mean, whoever's out there, whoever's watching this, just so you know, you're not going to get away with how you're treating this. Okay, you have a veneer of legitimacy to you. You really, really don't. Um, and I don't forget when people wrong me or wrong us. And you know, don't think that for a minute you're not going to get any more letters from us or affidavits. You will. And if you don't respond, well, that's at your own discretion. That's at your own risk. So, watch out for sure. More legal actions coming. So, you know, be prepared. Be forewarned. Unless you want to come and undo the wrongs you've done, you know, um, and maybe God smites you and you have some honor all of a sudden, we'd be more than likely to hear you out. But until then, don't think you're getting away with it. As so above as below. All right. He taped a document to the window of the building addressed to the Queen and the national headquarters of the Canadian Legion. The document claimed the hall had been forfeited to Patron's Nationalist Party of Canada. Patron's defense lacks an air of reality, and I reject it, Regina Provincial Court Judge Lane Liggers said. Wayne Liggers, or Lane. Oh, now he's a judge. Judge? What? Judge? Confusing. Lane Wiegers. You're on watch too, buddy. Don't think that you're not going to have some affidavits sent your way. You don't. Oh, doesn't have an air of reality? Oh. Yeah, your Magna Carta, your constitutional rights, they don't have an air of reality whatsoever. No. Yeah, you're on watch, buddy. You're on watch. I hope you like your car you drive. Enjoy it while it lasts. You might not have it anymore. That's all I'm going to say. But anyway, the document, he said, had no legal force. The Crown also brought a number, and no, I don't mean stealing it. I don't mean stealing this guy's car. I just mean through legal avenues, of course, done honorably and giving him a chance to rebut. So, Lane Wiegers, if you have a chance, reverse, if you're watching, reverse the verdict of Travis Patron and then you will be off my list. But until then, you're on my list of sending people affidavits to, and that's a long list. So, you know, um, denying us a writ of habeas corpus, denying us our Magna Carta rights, denying us our constitutional rights. That's racking up a pretty big bill there, buddy. So it's gonna cost you. It's gonna cost you, I tell you. The document, he said, had no legal force. The Crown also brought a number of charges, which included break and enter against Patron for subsequent entry into the hall on the night of March 27, 2021. The judge did not accept Patron's excuse that he went to the hall to retrieve headphones he'd left there. However, Patron was found not guilty of these offenses for a number of reasons, including the fact that his stay of the hall was brief. He didn't damage anything while there. He didn't disturb any activities at the hall, and he appears to have entered the building with a key. Oh boy. Unbelievable. Yeah. Yeah, that's pretty. So what, he spent 8 months in jail for disturbing a CPR class? Come on now. Come on now. That's ridiculous. That doesn't make any sense whatsoever. But anyway, so for the counts on which he was convicted, Sean was sentenced a total of 30 days in prison. The judge gave him credit for time served in custody. Oh, gee, thanks. Including his appearance in court, which resulted in no further prison time being imposed. Sean is in custody, but was present by CCTV to hear the decision and sentencing. Okay. Alrighty. Vostek. What? Lawson page. Oh boy. Who are you? So summary, so Patron has another 30 days in jail um, for disrupting a CPR class. Wasn't found not guilty on the break and enter. Um, so mischief, uh, counts of no, these counts were from uh, 2019. Oh, yeah. So mischief, and then breach of an undertaking from November 22nd to August 9th. Yeah, I mean, whatever. It's not really anything. Um, and I'm not really scared of any government agents because I've sent you documents. You better return. They return those documents, or else you'll be defaulted. You know who you are. If you're listening to this later. But anyway, um, so yeah, that's basically it. Charge for nothing. I'm just dumbfounded of how ridiculous it is. So basically, he spent 8 months in jail for not reporting on a specific day on where he was and interrupting a CPR class, which was mischief. 8 months for that. Amazing. Wow. Clown world makes no sense whatsoever. But anyway, I think that's it. I just wanted to keep it. Sorry, I took a little bit longer explaining this, but it was, there's a lot of things to go over, so I think it was fair. But yeah, if anybody has any questions, comment below. Um, check out Dean Clifford, Winston Shrout. Um, they have some great work you can look over as well. Just look up your birth name trust law too. Look up SSDQV trust. Look up that. Those are some really good remedies. And for whatever you're going through, it's contract law, so it applies to everything. Applies to government dealings with government, your dealings with your collections agency, whoever. So it's powerful stuff. Trust me. And let's just say I've gotten the collections agency to hang up on me, which is quite amazing because they call you every day, and they hung up on me, which is amazing. It's really profound, really. But but I can go over that through another, and then maybe I'll do another stream here right away, and I'll just kind of screen share, and then I had a talk with uh, on Atheist show the other day, 2 days or 1 day ago. Was it yesterday? Yeah, I think it was yesterday. But anyway, um, yeah, it was. I kind of go over how to assert your rights, and it's quite fascinating, and maybe I'll do that for another stream. But until then, peace out.